on Sims with Jensen Crane Services. I just wanted to talk to you for a minute about behavior and accidents. Now, do you think that any of your employees on their commute to work in the morning make a conscious decision to see how many shortcuts they can take before they hurt themselves? No, we know people don't do that. So when we investigate an incident, if we know that people don't intentionally try to hurt themselves, then there's 4 primary questions that we need to be asking. The first question is, do you know why you need to perform this task in a specific manner? And if the answer is no, then we need to explain the importance of why it needs to be done this way. The second question is, do you know how to perform this task the way that we've described it? And if they can't demonstrate it, then we need to train them again. The third question is there something missing? Is there something that you need to perform this task safely that you don't have? And if the answer is yes, then we as a management team need to provide the resources for people to work safely. And the last question, and I think it's the most important one, is when you do this the way we've asked you to do it, does something happen to you that you don't like enough that you're willing to take shortcuts to avoid that negative consequence? And one of those 4 questions is going to give you the answer as to why somebody chose to engage in an unsafe behavior. Now, if you think about successful safety programs, we measure how many incidents we have a year and what our TMI and lost time rates are and all of those things. But when you investigate an accident, you'll at the end of that investigation, you're going to find one of 2 scenarios. Either there was a known hazard that we had controls in place to mitigate the risk for it, yet somebody still got hurt, and when we investigate, we find out that that control wasn't working or people weren't using it. The second scenario is there's a hazard in the workplace that we haven't identified. We haven't identified that risk, so we don't have a control in place for it, and we don't put a control in place until somebody gets hurt, and we scramble to shore that up. That's reactive safety. If you want a safety program to work, who knows more about the risk that they take and the ways to prevent them than the guys who are doing that job every day, right? So if you reinforce people monitoring the controls that you have in place now to mitigate risk and report to you when those controls aren't working, and those same people are monitoring the workplace looking for hazards that we haven't identified, so we haven't identified that risk or developed a control, and they help us to develop that control and implement it before somebody gets hurt. That's upstream safety.